Before going into the topic details, I want to bring your attention to the UPSC coaching programs offered by ClearIAS. ClearIAS offers online and offline courses to help candidates get selected for prestigious government services like IAS, IPS, or IFS. ClearIAS, Prelims cum Mains, PCM course, provides a highly effective study plan, well-organized subject-wise videos, study materials, mock exams, and guidance to cover the entire GS syllabus of UPSC CSE Prelims, Mains, and Interview systematically. As a limited period offer, there is a 40% discount on our online courses. Enroll now.
So what are the 5 new classical languages recently got approval by the cabinet? So we'll understand what are the languages and very basic things about the languages, and there is a controversy surrounding this particular new approval also. So we'll understand why there is a controversy also. So what are the new additions? These 5 are the new additions to the classical languages list. The first one is actually about Marathi, and Marathi from the state of Maharashtra only. So it's a common guess. There is actually Maharashtra, and a lot of different Bhakti movement literary works are actually there. There is one particular poet that is known as Jnaneshwar. So different kinds of poetry works are actually by him in the Marathi language also. So he actually had a commentary on Bhagavad Gita and all these things. Basically, he was a Bhakti movement poet. So in the Bhakti movement, you know what happened? That is after somewhere around 1000 AD, different kind of people actually rose in the Bhakti movement, just like Ramanuja, just like Shankaracharya, just like Jnaneshwar, etc. And they actually propounded their Bhakti philosophies in different parts of India. That is, you are not different from God. You can be. It's not just worship to God. They were simply loving the God. For example, there is Mirabai in Rajasthan area, just like Jnaneshwar in Maratha areas. So these kind of poets are all there. And the second one is actually, second and third are Pali and Prakrit. So which religion you can actually associate it with? Pali and Prakrit.
The traditional Indian languages.
Devansh, can you repeat once more?
The traditional Indian languages.
Traditional Indian languages. This time your voice was clear a little bit. The second time. North Indian languages. Yes, of course. See, North Indian religions, of course. See, basically it was, we can say, associated with Ashokan inscripts, Buddhist inscriptions, or Buddhist literature, of course. Or this is basically North Indian languages, just like Jeshil said. So the normal people there, they used to speak in the Prakrit language, etc. The Ashokan inscriptions were actually in Prakrit, and the Buddhist texts and documents and books were written in Pali and Prakrit. So we can briefly say that these are North Indian traditional languages, which are actually recently included in the classical languages list actually. So the next thing is actually about Assamese. So Assamese, you know which state is actually from Assam, of course. And there was one Bhakti movement saint, just like Jnaneshwar, in Assam. Last week we discussed about Majuli, right? In last week, just penalty week, we actually
Srimanta Sankar Deva.
There is actually the saint that is called. His name is Srimanta Sankar Deva. So there is actually Srimanta Sankar Deva, who was also a Bhakti movement exponent. He was actually a great scholar, and he used to have a lot of different literary works in the Assamese languages also. And the very same Majuli Island, which we were actually mentioning just a couple of weeks back, he had his base station there. That is his, Hatras. Devansh only said that it's not Satras, it is Hatras. So all the monasteries were actually located in the very same Majuli Island of Assam. He was actually propagating, or we can say, Neo-Vaishnavism. He was a proponent of Neo-Vaishnavism. That is a new type of Vaishnavism. And the last one is definitely Bengali, again added into the classical language list. Who can be the saint who is associated with Bengali in the Bhakti movement era? Have you actually gone through the art and culture part of that? Okay, make sure that you go through the NCRTs also. It's very detailed mentioned in the NCRTs also. So who was that Bhakti movement philosopher associated with Bengali language? He's a very famous guy, of course. It's called Chaitanya Deva. So it's called Chaitanya Deva. Right. So just like Jnaneshwar, just like Srimanta Sankar Deva, just like Ramanuja, etc., there is Chaitanya Deva associated with Bengali language. You can create a UPSC question from this, right? Just give a list of languages and just a what is a list of people and associated with which language he was actually famous for in the Bhakti movement. So that kind of pair-based questions or match the following questions is also possible from this type of context. So what is this type of data actually? And the last thing is regarding in the very same topic is what are the current languages? This was discussed in the 2 weeks back. So current languages, current classical languages are Tamil, Sanskrit, Kannada and Telugu. So these are 6 languages. Tamil, Sanskrit, Kannada and Telugu, Malayalam and Odia. The last one is Odia, and the Tamil was the first ever classical language to be classified. So these 6 are there, and again they added 5 more. Right. So this we discussed in one of these previous classes, and so we are not going into the details of these 6 languages, and we're writing it down. So we'll just understand what is the controversy, right? So the controversy is because there is a set of different criteria to classify language as a classical language. But the problem was that in July 2024, what happened was that one of the criteria was actually struck down. And that is why they could actually, include the Assamese, Bengali, etc., like that. So what are the criteria? We already discussed about the criteria in our last class. But this particular criteria, that is the third one, the literary tradition should be original and not borrowed from another speech community. This is one criteria. And if this criteria is there, only then the Tamil, Sanskrit, Malayalam, Odia, etc. were actually added. But they actually dropped it in July 2024, this year. So what happened was that they said that need not consider that. They did not eliminate it. They said that even if this is not satisfied, it is okay. So what happened when this is not considered? All the languages which we just discussed right now, Marathi, Prakrit, Pali, Assamese, Bengali, everything could be added. So that is how they added this thing. So you can create another prelims question here. The criteria they can give, the 4 criteria they can give, and they can simply ask which of if the 4 of them are actually valid, or only 2 are valid, one is valid, etc. like that. So you have to remember the original literary tradition need not be there now. It was the original criteria, but now this criteria is not there. So this is the recent current affair addition. So that is why the 5 new languages are actually now added. So the already classical language states are actually saying, so if you actually add all these things now, then in the 5 or 6 years, you will have 30 classical languages. And India has 30 languages. So what is the use of giving a classical language status? So that is the point. Ever wondered like that? You have this Jnaneshwar train, right? Or you have bullet trains like that. So what if every small station try to demand stops in their area? Like for example, Jnaneshwar trains in your localities, it has one stop in every district, something like that. So what if different kind of stations actually demand, because of the political pressure, etc., they actually allow different stations. So then it becomes a passenger train, right? You have to reach fast. That is the point of the Jnaneshwar or a bullet train. So just like that, if you give classical language status to every languages in India, then what is the point of giving classical language status? That is the controversy which is recently been erupted. So they are talking it as a divide and rule policy. They simply want it. The elections are happening. So that is why you are giving this thing. So all these kind of political issues are happening surrounding this topic. That is why it is relevant, and that is why it is in the current affairs.